to this week's online version of the Friday Focus. Most of you will probably know me. My name is Tammy Woodrow, and I'm part of the Learning and Engagement team at Leamington Art Gallery and Museum, and sometimes I'm part of the Collections and Exhibitions team. This week I'd like to tell you something about my practice as a sculptor and where I am if I'm not at the gallery, and where I'm kind of spending a lot of time now during the lockdown doing all my artistic projects. So in the space where I'm in now, it's one of the kind of selling points when we bought this house in a rural area around about 6 years ago. It was a double garage, which we converted into my previous studio. I'll show you a bit. It's a bit of a mess at the moment. Right, no, I'm not doing that right. I should do it like this. Well, you kind of get an idea about the dimensions. My idea was to make it into kind of a gallery space or project space where kind of young artists could do experiments and so. And just before the lockdown, Bethany Turner, one of my friends, she was doing her final year and her degree project. She made a whole installation here of kind of this. So the whole wall, all the walls were kind of lined with this garden foil material, and it looked amazing. But then coronavirus happened, and basically if you would step into this space, it was almost like a kind of virus incubator. Her aim was to create a kind of immersive installation with lots of projections, and sadly, yes, we had to cancel it. Like a lot of my other projects had to be cancelled, but hopefully maybe in the future she will come back and do that installation again. Meanwhile, I had to kind of get all the foil off the walls because it started to kind of fall down, and my husband Mark's now temporarily taken over the space as a kind of dark room, but when it's safe again to have kind of a public space, I will kick him out of this space and use it as a gallery space. So there's a dark room in here now, but also it's storage for a lot of my junk. Well, not junk. A lot of my sculptures. So it's also sculpture storage space. So these. That's kind of a current body of work I'm working on, and they're kind of all misshapen, falling apart towers. I've used metal and wood, and it's based on the stories of the Tower of Babel. So when kind of communications break down, when societies break down, language kind of problems. I'm not a specifically religious person, but those kind of themes, that kind of subject matter really interests me. And so what I do is kind of like conceptual art. So I'm not trying to make traditional figurative forms, but there's a lot of kind of experiments going on, experiments with material and forms and airs. And all these little towers were supposed to go in kind of a circle shape, large circle shape. So it would be quite a big installation, around about 4 meters diameter. and they probably will now be used for a sculpture trail I'm curating. It was supposed to be launched in May at St. Mary's Allotments. There's a whole group of us, a group of artists that would put lots of outdoor sculptures there. And sadly it was cancelled, of course, but hopefully these little towers will make it there in September for Heritage Open Day. So fingers crossed. Yeah, so there's some older work here as well from 2015. Those are prints of sculptures. That was a series of work titled Inca Nubla, which is kind of a Latin word for the beginning of something. And as you can see, it's so I used lots of organic material, old bits of wood, tree trunk, and attached details to them, metal details. It was all to do with kind of, well, a lot of kind of existential ideas about life and death. So that is kind of floating in an existential black space. And there's like lots of symbolism in. I used a lot of found objects, and yeah. So those were kind of keys, and there's of course a lot of symbolism in keys. But I had to, but it worked out really well. So of course you cannot put kind of rotten wood or which could be infested with insects and so in a gallery environment. So I had to kind of photograph these sculptures, and in the end it actually worked out much better. And overall, that was kind of done in 2015, and you can see all the prints on my website. Let's go outside to my current studio. I'm just gonna quickly walk through the garden. Oh, here's another. These are other ideas I'm working on. So, you see that? So, that's a body of work called Cocoon, from Cocoon. And it's based on, so in the year, a long time ago, they found the first kind of penciled down Dutch words by a monk in a manuscript, and it started with the sentence in Old Dutch, all the birds have started making nests except you and me. And so it's kind of so it's kind of that kind of nest idea, cocoon. And I like working with kind of materials that are kind of very contrasting. So you've got like the soft wire, and then kind of the industrial. Oh gosh, yeah, sorry. Industrial cement as a block, and then the repetition is very important, and yeah, kind of modular units. So here are some more kind of Cocoon series sculptures. These were part of a sculpture trail at a few years ago at Binswood Allotments. So this is my current studio. So it's like almost like a black box. Oh God, I'm not sure if you can see it properly, but you get the idea. So it's a shed. And currently again, I'm working on that kind of theme of the Tower of Babel. I'm making these kind of lead sculptures. I'm soldering them. So how can you see that best? Sorry. Yeah, so there's one I'm working on now. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, so you kind of get an idea where I'm spending a lot of time currently in lockdown. Yeah, a lot of materials here that are really have kind of like sculptural qualities. Like I love working with wax baking paper. When you start crumbling it, it really, yeah, takes on lovely kind of shapes and organic forms. And yeah, so I think I've done 10 minutes now. Hope to see you soon, and yeah, stay well, stay safe, and hope to see you all soon at the gallery. Bye.